Here's the good news. You don't need to try harder. You've just been trying to live without a map. I want to tell you about this Sunday night a few years ago. I was sitting on my couch. I was staring at my calendar like it had personally betrayed me. And the week ahead looked like chaos. Meetings stacked on top of meetings, kids' schedules that made no logical sense, work projects bleeding into family time, and zero breathing room. I thought this can't be what success looks like. But for a lot of us, it does. I mean, for most of us, planning our week has looked less like strategy and more like survival, right? I used to jot my to-do list on the back of receipts with eyeliner in the car because when you're trying to hold 1,000 things in your brain, you'll grab whatever's nearby, including last year's CVS coupons that you found in your center console. It can't just be me. But what I discovered is that I didn't need more motivation. I needed a better system. It wasn't a better planner that I needed. It was a system that could give me clarity and intention before the chaos hit. And that's when I started creating what I now call my weekly action plan, not to micromanage every minute, but to design a week that I actually want to live. Last week, I gave you the morning momentum plan, how to design your day. This week, we're going to talk about your week because most weekly planning fails. And only some specific parts will actually work. For most of our lives, we live our weeks in reactive mode. We respond to what shows up in our inbox, in our kitchen, or our group text, and we just call that productivity. But if you ever zoom out, you end up living a life full of urgency and empty of intention. The brain science backs this up in a really fascinating way. Our minds can only hold so many open loops. This is what is called the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain literally can't stop thinking about unfinished tasks. Every unplanned priority creates mental background noise. It's like having 47 browser tabs open on your computer. But here's what's even more interesting. Decision fatigue compounds throughout your week. So every time you have to decide what to do next, you're using glucose in your prefrontal cortex. We talked about the prefrontal cortex last week. By Wednesday, if you haven't planned ahead, your brain is running on fumes. That's why you find yourself ordering pizza instead of cooking, or snapping at your kids, or avoiding important tasks altogether. Your brain is done. So what I want to do is make sure that we are doing intentional reflection on our week. And cognitive load theory explains why this kind of intentional reflection feels so relieving. So when you externalize your thoughts and priorities on paper or in the Uplift app, you free up mental space for creativity and presence and actual living. Implementation intentions, that's the psychology term for if-then thinking, are incredibly powerful. When you get clear on, I want X this week, and I'll focus on Y, you're creating mental pathways that make intentional choices natural to your brain. And here's one more interesting thing, your cortisol levels. So Sunday reflection and intention setting actually reduces Monday morning stress hormones, right? So you can reduce the Sunday scaries and reduce the Monday morning stress hormones. Did you know most heart attacks happen Monday mornings? Because people are so stressed about the week that they're going into. When your brain has a sense of direction, it doesn't have to stay in threat detection mode. You literally sleep better when you have clarity about what matters. Weekly planning is that reset for our brain. It's your aerial view, and it's your permission slip to say, this matters and this doesn't, and I'm not going to guilt myself into doing 47 things that I don't have to do. Now, there are a lot of pitfalls to planning. I want to tell you what they are and how to avoid them because I'm obsessed with what can go wrong. Let me know in advance so I can fix it. I don't want to drive my car into the ditch. So before we go into these prompts, I want to address the elephant in the room. Most people have tried weekly planning before and quit. Here's why that happens. I'm going to tell you why, and we're not going to let mistakes happen. Mistake number one, trying to be superhuman overnight. If you look at your week and say, this is when I become a morning person and I meal prep like a Pinterest mom and I deep clean my house, you just need to stop. Absolutely not. I want you to set intentions for the human that you are today, not the person that you think you quote unquote should be in some future date. Mistake number two, confusing intention setting with perfectionism. Your weekly reflection isn't a contract written in blood. It's a compass. When you need to adjust course, you simply recalibrate. If you don't follow through on Monday's intention, you don't throw out the whole week. You learn and you adjust. Perfectionism has no place here. Mistake number 3, making it complicated instead of clarifying. The point isn't to create more rules or systems to follow. It's to get clear on what matters so you can make better choices throughout the week. Simple clarity beats complex systems every single time. And the last mistake, just throwing out the whole practice when life happens. Your week will get disrupted. That's not failure, that's life. The goal isn't a perfect week. The goal is maintaining your center and knowing what matters most, even when everything goes sideways, because half the time things are going to go sideways. So next I want to give you what the prompts are. These are the 9 reflection questions that will transform your week. So just like we talked about last week, you open the Uplift app, scroll on the homepage to the productivity section, and tap weekly action plan. You're going to see 9 prompts. The beauty of this is you don't have to answer all of them. You could do 3 prompts. You could do all 9. I want you to choose only the sections that speak to you now this week. Now, your responses are saved so you can return and reflect on them anytime. You can find them in the guided journal section under My Entries. Okay, here are the questions. Number 1, what do I want for my week? We start with this question because vision always happens before action. What kind of week do you want? Peaceful? Productive? Connected? This question reconnects you to your heart before you touch your to-do list. Question number 2. What are the 3 most important things this week? Not 30, not 13, 3. This helps you focus on what truly matters. Those are your anchors. If everything else gets chaotic and you only focus on 3 things, you still win the week. Question number 3. When will I do each thing? I want you to put it on your calendar. This isn't about rigid time blocking, although it could be. I love rigid time blocking myself. It's about identifying when you'll give attention to what matters. Sometimes it's Tuesday morning, or this weekend, or Thursday from 2 to 4. The goal is moving from someday to specific. Number 4, what potential obstacles might prevent me from completing my priorities this week, and how can I plan around them? We talked about this when we plan our days. Life happens. Sick kids, emotional overwhelm, unexpected demands, things just going up in flames. This reflection helps you build mental flexibility into your week. You stop being surprised and you start being prepared. Think about what could go wrong, make a plan for how you'll address it, and you're going to be more resilient. Number 5, what can I make easier this week? I'm talking about automation or delegation. If you're doing everything yourself, you're carrying too much. Can you use grocery delivery? Ask for help. Batch similar tasks together. Let someone else choose the restaurant. Remember, releasing control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Number 6, what can I do this week to care for my emotional health? We've all heard it before. It is trite, but sometimes trite things are trite because they're true. And it's you can't pour from an empty cup. This reflection isn't a luxury, it's essential. It could be a phone call, a walk, a therapy session, an extra 10 minutes in prayer, whatever helps you feel like you again. That's what I want you to think of. Number 7, who do I need to connect with or follow up with this week? Your relationships need intention just like your tasks do. This keeps connection purposeful, not accidental. It could be a friend, a coworker, someone that lives in your house with you, your husband, a note of encouragement or a long overdue conversation, or just let somebody know that you're thinking about them. Call them and catch up. Whatever it is for you, make sure that you're building in connection into your week. And number 8, how will I care for my health? Your health is the foundation everything else rests on. We have to stop treating it like it's an afterthought. Now, this can be small, like drinking more water, walking outside, going to bed earlier. It's about honoring your body so it can carry your mission. And number 9, what message does God have for me this week? This is where intention meets the sacred. This prompt invites you to slow down and listen and ask, what do I sense God whispering over my week? Is it a word, a verse, a reminder that you're not doing this alone? You know, sometimes I will hear things like, you're not alone. I'm working. I have literally heard, I take care of you. And if you know Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 7, and every time he reminds me that he takes care of me, I weep like a child because it's the message that my heart longs to hear. But we're baking this into our system every week, right? It's not just an everyday plan of here's what I'm going to get done. In morning momentum, we're bringing God into that. When we're doing our weekly action plan, it's not here's my week plan. We're bringing in our health and our emotional health and what God has for us. These are game changers in your joy, in your peace, and your productivity. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." God is partnering with you in this process. When you show up to plan your week with intention, you're not being controlling, you're being faithful. You're making space for God to move through your plans, your presence, and your peace. This is spiritual stewardship. This is how we build lives that reflect his goodness, not just our own busyness. So like I said, you don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to lead your week like a woman who knows where she's going. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be clear. And that clarity starts with 10 intentional minutes, 9 simple questions, and a moment of truth-telling and listening. I want you to open up the Uplift app, find your weekly action plan under the productivity section on the homepage. Pick a time that works, Sunday night, Monday morning, whatever your rhythm is. Answer the prompts that speak to you. And then you can even revisit midweek and check in and celebrate what's working. I will tell you this. When you work on becoming a woman who plans with peace and lives with purpose and shows up with margin, magic happens. And this week, I want you to live it on purpose. So go get the Uplift app if you don't have it yet and start this practice in your life. Now, you want a recommendation? I hope you do because I have one for you. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. This is the Neutrogena Mineral Ultra Sheer Dry Touch Face and Body Stick. That is a mouthful. It is SPF 50. I love this. I have switched from old sunscreen, the old kind that I used to buy, to mineral sunscreen because it sits on top of your skin and it blocks the sun like a shield. And it works right away. It doesn't have to sink in. What I've learned just in the past couple of years is chemical sunscreens, on the other hand, they absorb into your skin and then they convert UV rays into heat, which can cause irritation, especially if you have rosacea. We talked about that last week, acne or sensitive skin. But some of the ingredients in chemical sunscreens like oxybenzone and avobenzone, if I said that right, they can really mess with your hormones or they can trigger inflammation. So I've switched from the old sunscreens to mineral sunscreens. It's just a smarter, safer choice. I actually use this every day on my skin under my makeup. So I put it on my face and my neck. I'm not messing around with aging. I'm not working this hard to keep my skin in good condition and then go out and get sun on my face every day because I walk outside probably for 45 minutes to an hour a day. I walk with the boys after I am done with work. Whoever's around to be able to walk with me, we walk in the park, we walk around the neighborhood. And it's just a great way to catch up and just it's great for our mental health. It's great for our physical health. But if you're outside for 45 minutes or an hour a day, that's a lot of aging. So always wear your sunscreen. And I just wear this. I'll put on a serum on my face, put this on, and then I put makeup over it, and it looks fine. It doesn't look bad under your makeup at all. So Neutrogena Mineral Ultra Sheer Stick. I love it. I use it every day. You know what else I love? I love that you're here. Let me say I'm grateful to get to spend this time with you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for learning the weekly action plan, whether you do it on Uplift or you write all this out and you put it in to a system that works for you. I'm just glad you're doing it. Thank you for investing in you. Thank you for investing in your joy and your clarity and a strategic vision, partnering with God for your week. Because what you do matters, not just for you, but for everyone around you. I believe in the calling that is on your life. I believe in the dreams that God has put on your heart, and I know you're a difference maker. I want you to hear me remind you that you're stronger than you think, you're braver than you feel, and you are absolutely not alone. With God, you have what it takes. So keep stepping up and keep showing up and loving well because you know the truth. You cannot break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. I hit recording too fast. So sorry. Hold on. I'm ready. So ready. I am so, so ready. I'm ready. If I keep saying it, I'll be ready.